Good morning, everybody. This is Lynn with Kansas Troubles Quilters. I'm here this week for Block 5, which is our candy cane and candy cane stars. Uh, the block has some little skinny pieces, but do not be afraid. It's not that bad. I've built in a lot of extra, so if your seams aren't perfect, if everything doesn't go together just absolutely perfectly, we're trimming it down to size at the end. So you're in excellent shape. Uh, I want to start with the instructions on page 8. Everything checked out. Make sure on the tan 7 background, F and G, which end up being these uh, quarter squares, the setting triangles, do cut those twice in half. Uh, so you're taking your square and cutting it diagonally twice to get 4 triangles. When I started yesterday, I cut my triangles in half, and amazingly enough, it's enormous, makes an enormous block. And then you have all of your edges are on the bias, which, especially with a block like this, it has a lot of moving parts. You really don't want bias edges. So that's why we cut our block into fourths. And then the outside is a straight edge with the grain of the fabric, which is much more stable when you're pressing and piecing. So F and G, make sure you cut it twice to get 4 triangles. Um, I want to go ahead then and show you the assembly of the little candy cane tops. The actual block is just 6.5 inches finished. So to play with it for purposes here to show you, I decided to do a twice as large block that will end up 12.5 inches. So with the top of the candy cane, the red stripe, you're going to add the little squares of the tan background to each corner. We're going to draw a line diagonally, stitch on the line, finger press to the corner to make sure our corner lines up perfectly, and then we're going to trim that to 1/4 inch and press that seam open. Once we have our little top piece done, then we can move on and make 8 of each of these units. 1 with the candy cane stick on the side, on the right side, and half with the candy cane stick on the other side. So you're going to end up with 2 candy cane tops for each block. So there's going to be 8 of each. Yes, 8 of each. So we're going to add the top to this unit. Now I pressed almost all the seams open. Open here. On the small one, I pressed this seam open and that seam open because I felt like they just laid a whole lot flatter. Now this unit looks a little weird when you get it to this point. It doesn't look like it's ever going to come out looking like a candy cane, but just hang with me, ladies, because it does in the end. So once we get the 2 candy cane tops pieced, then we're going to add the other parts to it to get the block. So we add little extender pieces on the long candy cane strips and add the short one to the right side of one of the large triangles, one of the F triangles, and then you add the long candy cane leg to the other side. Now, these I pressed toward the background. And that's for when you assemble the whole block, then you have opposing seams up here in the intersection where you need them. So we're going to sew the right hand candy cane top to a small triangle, and then sew this unit to the candy cane sticks on the bottom, and then sew a large one and a small one on either side of the remaining one. This is actually what it's going to kind of look like. There's plenty at the top. I've drawn my line around for the 6.5 where I'm going to cut, so you can see that. Having a 6.5-inch ruler right now is so great because you can line up the diagonal line right there under where the candy canes cross over. That's your 3.25-inch spot, and it's perfect. So you have those candy cane lines here to go by to line up your ruler and then cut your 6.5-inch square like this, which gives you this block. Now, if you switch and put your F's on the sides and your G's on the top and bottom, this is what you end up with. Don't do that. It will not give you a 6.5-inch square block. But that just goes to show everybody makes mistakes and we just move on. So I did the larger block for a step out. We're going to be making this at the retreat too, and because we're in such a great big huge room, I thought nobody's ever going to be able to see this small step out. So I created the block as a 12.5-inch square as well. Well, then you can't just leave it as a block. So I actually made this adorable pillow. We got a little jingle bell action going on there. So the pillow, I think, is one of the perfect complements to your quilt. If you are part of our quilt along or coming to the retreat, do not buy this pattern or kit. You'll be receiving the free pattern with your next quilt along shipment. And the ladies at our retreat are going to be making this as part of our retreat in September. So we'll have this available later today. I just finished the pattern yesterday, so I'll get it posted at ktquilts.com. It'll be a $9.95 pattern. You're welcome to go purchase that after the video. After you make all your teeny tiny little blocks, you're going to want to take a break and do the large one. Or in the reverse, if you want to practice on the bigger block, then you can go back and make the small ones. Now, I did not get the star, candy cane star done, but we've talked about the star before with the greetings. It's just more connecting corners. You actually have the center of your block already pieced with your candy cane 6.5-inch square. So your star ends up finishing 12.5 inches. I've gotten a couple of questions from you ladies, which I really appreciate, asking about the little yellow triangles on the corners of the sheets. And I'll show you, like for Bluebird's Nest. This was only 29 pieces in the line, so there are a lot of duplicates. And if you're purchasing fabric as a pre-cut, then you want to know which ones are doubled up so you know which ones you have more fabric of. Now, talking about Bluebird's Nest, this is a pattern that will be available in Moda's cool little collector boxes. They have a craft box that they're going to fill with 8-inch squares. You can totally make this entire project with just the 28-inch squares and then just binding. It's a little mini quilt called Nest, and there's all kinds of fun stuff in these boxes. I just cannot wait to see it all. You'll have to get your order in with your local quilt shop, and they can get those ordered for you for October delivery. So we're really excited about the upcoming Bluebird's Nest as well. I think that's all I have for you today, ladies. Thanks for stopping by. I'll post this on our website, and I'll see you next week.